Oof, the latest on Love is Blind. I'm so excited to talk to you about it. It was a shit show. And we're going to start with the biggest shit show of Annie. Oh, you guys, Annie. Annie and Nick. And so I will tell you this, Annie starts off already drunk from that first conversation. And this is why the alcohol is like devil's work because alcohol will always bring up your insecurities. And so Annie had already talked to Nick earlier, like during the honeymoon, like, oh my gosh, I'm scared that you don't love me as much as I love you. You're not sure. So all of that, those fears of hers came out so hard during this time when they're talking at their apartment. And the conversation was so cringe. Oh my gosh, you need to tell me if you felt the same way because I'm watching and I'm like, stop, Annie, just stop. And she was just like trying to, I love you. Do you love me? I love you. He's like, I love you. Like, no, but I just love you so much. And it just felt like she is so vulnerable and she hates being that vulnerable. She loves caring about somebody so much. And so that's where all of this gets just worse and worse as you're watching because he is reassuring her, but it's just not enough for her, especially that she's drunk, right? And he's there trying to eat a chalupa, like from Taco Bell, and he's just like, I'm just trying to eat this chalupa, and she is not letting it go. She's just like, you don't get it. Like, I love you so much, and she just needs to know that he loves her as much as she loves him, and it's exhausting. So I understand that Nick's frustration, dealing with this drunk girl and all of her insecurities, and I get it. But it doesn't warrant what happens next. Like the next day, he ends up saying, "Oh yeah, no, I can't go along with this wedding. You're not, this isn't. I can't do this." And she's like, no, like, and it actually became insane to me where she was trying to convince him to continue the process and get to the altar. And she's like trying to convince him that she's lovable and amazing. It was so sad. I feel like it was so sad too, especially for me, because I feel like, oh my gosh, I remember being in relationships like this and feeling like this where I'm just like, but I'm amazing. Like, let me show you how amazing I am. And so, like, my heart really goes out to Annie. But all that being said, I still don't believe that, because he tried to say, oh, that was like the deal breaker. That was a moment that, like, I'm done. When the night before, she was insisting on saying that she loves him and he doesn't love her as much. And so he was like, I'm done with it. But that's bullshit. Like, I don't think that argument or that conversation warranted him breaking off the engagement. I feel that he went into the show, not really wanting to find love. I never trusted him. I never trusted him from the beginning. And everyone keeps saying the same thing, like Ali and other cast members were like, he wasn't genuine. And I felt that same way as I was hearing Nick talk. It could be emotional maturity. Maybe he wasn't being malicious or anything, but I do think that he was never going to get married. Like, I never saw him really intentionally like ready. Maybe he's not emotionally available. Whatever it is, I just never saw him truly sincerely ready to get married. And I feel bad for Annie because that was like, it was at her cost, you know what I mean? So for him, it's all like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go along this fun ride, but at whose expense? And Annie's little heart, she was just so sweet and so lovable. But I do think that this whole experience can really do some major damage to her level of like her self-esteem and her sense of worth and all these kind of things. And I hope it didn't, but I just feel like the way that she put her heart out there, she could very well move forward after this with like her guard up and being like, okay, I'm not doing this shit again. And I don't think that she should do that because Nick really was never in it to begin with. I feel like she was deceived. She was deceived. And at the end of the day, she let herself be deceived. I think there were things that were being, probably swept under the rug, like so many people have done, and I've done that in the past too. And, maybe she didn't ask enough questions, or maybe she didn't want to listen to his real answers. But like the writing was kind of on the wall and she didn't want to hear it. So either way, at the end of the day, thank God, because I just couldn't, I just didn't want to deal with Nick anymore. I was like, bye, Nick. But I do feel bad for Annie. Poor thing. Okay, moving along because we have the other couples to talk about. Super important. Anton and Ali, you guys. Okay, let's talk about Anton. I think, Ali has a real concern that he is an alcoholic or he has like an unhealthy relationship with alcohol, something like that. So this is where I feel like there's a disconnect. Some people say, oh, I'm not an alcoholic, so I'm fine. I think he probably doesn't have a healthy relationship with alcohol. He probably drinks more than he should be drinking. And Ali is noticing all the tequila's gone, all the beer is gone, and how much time. Like he's inventing, like, oh, Patrick was here. Oh, he was here drinking. Oh, he never came in the door. Like it just feels that Ali doesn't fully trust Anton. And she thinks that he has issues and he has problems and he's like lying about parts of himself and like what really is the situation. And that's why I think it's not going to be a yes at the altar, because at the end of the day, you want to feel safe and secure with your partner. And if she is questioning him like this, like, how many beers were there? They're all gone now. Who has entered our apartment? How many beers do they have? I just feel there is a lack of trust. And if you don't trust your partner, it's bye time. That's it. Like, it's not, I'm not going to say it's a shame. I do feel like there's some great things about them too, that they have some similarities. And I like the mom, that they both are so sweet and encouraging. But there were also some concerns with the financial aspect and her wanting to be taken care of. And like, I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily, but I do feel that there are some things that they were like bumping heads on. He wants like her in the traditional role, like taking care of the house and cleaning and cooking. And she's like, not for it. So I do think that there's some major things that are not aligned. And it's so funny because like in their conversation, you could see like they're realizing, oh, these are legitimate concerns. And that's it. Like they don't end the conversation. They don't, like, this is where I think people can, really make some major mistakes as they're dating. And think about this for you. You're dating someone and you realize, oh my gosh, you have some deep, like massive differences when it comes to how you live your life. Like Ali, she's very healthy. She doesn't drink that much. He drinks a lot. And so that is important. That's not something like, oh, this is just something I do. It's not a big deal. He even asks her, like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, you're a grown man. I'm not going to tell you. And I actually disagree with that. I feel like she should have communicated. Actually, ideally, this is what I would want. I would want us to work during the week, no alcohol, and for us to stay really present. And then maybe like on the weekend, have a couple drinks, this and that, but not like go overboard or whatever it is that she wants. Like specifically spell it out. This whole like, you're a grown man, like figure it out, I think is a misstep on her part. And I think if you can relate to that, you're like, oh my God, I thought that they should just figure it out on their own. This is a massive thing that I learned in going into my healthy relationship with my husband of 17 years, you guys, is like I had to spell shit out. Like, no, this is how I would envision our life. Okay. And he's like, yes, I'm right there with you. Or Anton could be like, no, I'm drinking every day and I'm going to drink a pack a day, or whatever the fuck he's doing. You know what I mean? But like, I do think Ali is making a mistake because she's not being clear what she wants, or she could be just testing him, which I think is a lack of maturity. And Anton really seems like he wants to show up for her and wants to do what she wants, but she's not telling him. So it's like, what are we doing? So I don't think they're going to be a yes. Like that's my, I'm setting the stage up. I'm putting my bets in. I want to hear from you too. But I truly don't think they're going to say yes. If anything, Anton will say yes and Ali will say no. I just don't think she feels safe with him. I don't think she trusts him fully. The whole idea that he went to strip clubs before, but now he's suddenly changed man and really wants to have like this amazing relationship and all this stuff. Like I don't fully believe that I don't know. Well, she doesn't believe it. That's all that matters is that, she doesn't fully believe in him. So it's going to be a bye-bye. That's my bet. Okay. So much more to talk about, you guys. Megan and Jordan. I love Megan. I just love her. I just think she's just so sweet and such a good heart. Um, and it's the anniversary of her father's passing, and something came up. Like she went and got together with her mom and the sister and Jordan. And I love how she was very transparent about, she was disappointed that Jordan didn't really show up for her the way she would want. But that being said, she realized, and they communicated that he didn't know, like he didn't really know what she needed from him. And so I do think that they're learning how to communicate and how to show up for each other and their expectations. And I think that's a good sign. Right when you meet your person, the partner that you choose, it's not like, oh, happily ever after, there's no problems. There's always going to be situations that come up. But what matters is how you communicate to one another and how you express yourself really vulnerably. And I feel like Megan is doing a good job with that. This is where I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? Is where she then, towards the end of the last episode that was released, she says to him, you don't talk. Like, we're not talking. Everything was talking in the pods, and now you don't talk. And he's like, I'm tired. And she wants to know about his work. He doesn't want to talk about his work. So she's feeling a little bit disconnected from him. She's trying to spill it out for him of like what she wants. And he's like, oh yeah, I know, I hear what you want, and I can't do that. So now she's like, wait, what do I do now? And so she's saying, I worked really hard to get to where I am. She can be flexible. She can travel. She can go to nice dinners. And he's like, oh, I love nice dinners too. And she's like, we have yet to go, because he's always so tired. He's always busy working. And so this is a moment you have to pause and say, is this a deal breaker? Yes or no? And the whole thing that Jordan's trying to say is like, he has a child, Luca, and who she met, who they love each other, and it's so sweet. But his whole lifestyle has completely changed when he became a dad. He's not about, oh my gosh, going out all the time or whatever, or even traveling with a child. He said it would be like this chore to go out with a child. I disagree with him. And I want you to hear this too, because if you're into traveling and you want children, both things can exist. And I feel like I want Megan to know that too. Will and I live now in Madrid. We're from Miami. We moved to Tenerife, the Canary Islands, with our kids when they're 3 and 5. Like we have that energy, like zest for life, going out. We go to Michelin star restaurants. We've taken our kids to Michelin star restaurants. Like we're foodies. I believe that there is this whole limited belief, right? People have this like, oh no, you can't have it all. If you have kids, you have to sacrifice so much. And I don't believe that. Okay. And I truly see that in my life. I could have it all, and we do have it all, right? Megan, I feel like is going into her life like, oh my gosh, enjoying life, traveling, amazing. And Jordan, because he has this, kind of more of a scarcity mindset, not so abundant, and he's kind of limited with his resources and money and opportunities, he's kind of like put himself in a box, like, this is my life now, work, get home, relax, like veg out. That's it. And be a father, right? And Megan is like, wait, what? That's kind of like not what she signed up for, what she wants. Like right now, she's deciding that. If I could tell Megan, I would actually love to talk to both of them. And because I think that they're both have so many wonderful things aligned that are so important. I feel like it's just about having the conversation with Jordan and expanding that mindset of like, you could have it all. Like you could do what Megan wants with Luca, and you could all do this together. You don't have to sacrifice the things that Megan wants, and I hope Megan knows that. What my concern is, even though as much as I think there's so many wonderful things with them, I don't know if Jordan can get to that point, and that doesn't feel all warm and cozy for Megan. Like Megan's going to be like, I have to give up so much. And that can build a lot of resentment too towards Jordan. That's just not a healthy thing to bring into a relationship. And it's a shame though, because in my perspective, in my through my lens, I feel like they could really have it all. It's just about having the conversations and expanding that mindset. But I'm not there. and they're making they're having these conversations through their own separate lens, and they have these limiting beliefs. And now it's like right now it's not feeling like Megan's gonna say yes at the altar, because the way that Jordan is expressing himself, he's so tired. This is what life is going to be. It's a chore to travel with kids and all of those things. It's not feeling like, oh my gosh, sign me up. Like Megan isn't like running to the altar anymore. And he said something that I really disagree with. And remember, I'm a fan of Jordan, right? But Jordan said, like, hey, Megan, like, you saw these crazy rich guys in the pods and you didn't choose them. You've dated guys like that in the past. It didn't work out. You chose me for a reason. And like, this is what it looks like. I'm like, ew, I don't agree with this. I feel like Megan chose guys that were not right for her, that were not aligned to what she really wants. But I don't think it's because they were crazy rich guys and that was the problem. I feel like there are other things, other qualities that were probably missing, and that's why it didn't work out. The whole idea of, oh yeah, now she chose the guy that isn't crazy rich, and this is what life looks like, and that's what you decided on, and this will work, is false. Like, I don't agree with that at all. I do think that Megan has a vision for her life, as she should. She should spell it out to Jordan, like what she wants, and he can say, yes, I can meet you there. Let's go. Or, that's not my life. That's not what I want. That's not where I ever want to be. I could have told Jordan, hey, Jordan, you can travel with kids. It's so much fun. And he's going to insist, no, it's not ever. And I'm like, okay, then that's his belief. And that's what his life looks like. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what's happening with both of them. And they're not aligned. You guys, and that's a deal breaker. Like, dude, there's no way in hell that Will and I, my husband of 17 years, would be this happy if he was like, I'm not traveling. I'm not going to nice restaurants. We're going to do this. Like, ew, like, it's just not the life that I envisioned. And so Megan right now has to decide. She has a decision to make. And as much as I could see so much love between them two, if he doesn't reassure her and say, you know what, I originally didn't think that this was possible, but I do believe it's possible to have it all. And I maybe was limiting myself into this box, and I don't have to. And that's the amazing thing when you have a partner that inspires you, that helps you reach a better version of yourself. Like, yes, that's the kind of partner you want. And Jordan himself, as a human and as a father and as a partner, he has such beautiful qualities that he brings into Megan's life too. So it's both sided. But like, it's truly about, can they both say yes to the vision that they have and do that together? If they don't say yes to that vision, then it's going to be bye-bye time at the altar. It's not going to be a yes. Okay, so I am like rooting for them. I still believe they're going to be a yes. I think they're going to have some conversations before getting there. But I'm a little bit like, oh shit. Like, oh no. There's some concerns, right? So we have to see and play it out. Oh, you guys, I can't, I can't with Edmond. I just can't. I keep hearing KB say to him, like, I've always dated potential, and I see potential in you, Edmond. And I'm like, oh my God, here we are again. Like, KB is doing the Build a Man workshop. Like, that's what we are doing. She's always teaching and guiding him, and like how to be emotionally intelligent, emotionally mature. Like, hold yourself accountable, Edmond, yada, yada. I just feel like Edmond gives man-child energy, and KB is such a badass woman. It just doesn't feel aligned. I think she is way out of his league. And he's trying to get to, be where she wants him to be. But she said something super concerning where I was like, wait a second. She's like, the way that he is in front of the cameras and the way he is behind the cameras is totally different. And that alone is a bye-bye moment. Like I feel like her intuition is saying this isn't feeling right. This isn't 100%. Why is he not being the same consistently? That makes me feel like we can't trust Edmond. So why would she marry him? And so she's calling him out on it. But like, this is where I don't agree with, oh, an apology is enough, because she's like, apologize, you have to own it, take accountability. But I think at the end of the day, like, people show you who they are, and it's up to us to believe them or not. She is seeing that he is not consistent in front of the camera and behind the camera. She is seeing that something is not aligned there, like his actions and his words, and something's not feeling good and safe for her and secure. She's like, it reminds her of what she's dated. And that's why it's a gift. All your exes have been a shit show. Perfect. Because then you know what the opposite is, right? And okay, that's not what I want. And now you can see it clearly. So if she's seeing something that, oh, I've been here, I know this, why would she choose this again? Because here we are again. It's like the Build a Man workshop. I see the potential. Let me just tell him. And he's like, okay, yeah, I see it. Because he knows she's too good for him. At the end of the day, he's going to just pretend, he's going to keep trying to be that person. But at the end of the day, he really isn't who she really wants. He's always going to be having to learn, and she's always going to have to be calling him out. And wait until the cameras are gone altogether. Like, who's Edmond going to be then? I think we saw a real glimpse of who Edmond is the night he got shit-faced drunk at that party that we talked about, and he like spiraled. He has some massive insecurities. He has a lot of more inner work to do for himself before he can marry somebody. Like, it doesn't mean, I'm not to say like, oh, everyone's perfect when they get married, but you have to be at a certain level of feeling secure in yourself, who you are, and what you bring to a marriage. And he's not there yet at all. I don't feel like he is secure in himself and is at that place of, I can bring this is who I am, this is what I can bring to the table, and let's do life together. This feels more like KB is dragging his ass, like, let's get it together. Like, I have big dreams. Are you with me? Let's go. And like, it just feels like this scarcity mindset. Like, is Edmond the only option we have for KB? Like, what are we doing? Like, there's so many men for you, KB. Like, come on, like, abundance time. Like, I do think that, and I know I've settled in the past where there's fear of like, oh my God, what if there's no one else left? Like, what if there's no one that would love me or whatever? Edmond saying he loves her and saying, I'll get my shit together isn't surprising to me because KB's amazing. But I also know, like, that's not my question. Like, my question isn't if Edmond's going to love her. My question is he really someone that she wants to do life with? Is he all the things that she really wants and deserves? And I don't think he is. I think she sees the potential. She wants him to be, but is he truly all those things? He's not. And at the end of the day, when you say yes to somebody and I'm going to marry you, you're not going to marry who they could possibly be one day. You're marrying them exactly as they are right then and there. And you have to just already understand and accept, is this a person that I'm going to love forever, even if they don't change? And I don't think KB would. If Edmond stays exactly the same as he is now, there's no way in hell she would be happily ever after with that guy, right? So yeah, it's a big no, like, truly. For what's it called, Edmond. I would be blown away, you guys, like, if KB actually says yes. Like, of course Edmond would say yes. Yeah, whatever. But for KB to say yes at the altar, I would be blown away. I don't see it at all. Oh my gosh, you guys. I would actually be like, what? I would be like freaked out. Wait, and am I forgetting somebody? I'm literally forgetting. I'm forgetting somebody. Annie and Nick we covered. Megan, KB. Oh my God, you guys, I almost forgot. That's right. Madison and Joe. The last ones. You guys, stop. Joe. First of all, I told you from the beginning, I didn't like Joe. I've always told you this. But beside that, Madison, I love Madison. She's so lovable and beautiful and awesome. But when Joe said at the family dinner, meeting Madison's family, and he says, oh, yeah, I was going to turn in the invitations. Like he was engaged before to his last girlfriend, and he couldn't do it. He, like the things that he was saying, it's giving avoidant. He's an avoidant. The person that, when it comes to emotional intimacy, he can't do. And so this is where I feel like he's been showing signs of being an avoidant throughout this whole time. This is where I feel like it's so important to actually know and like learn these kind of terms, attachment styles, and learn about, people and why they act that way and things like that, because you empower yourself and you can see things clearly. I don't think Madison knows about all these things. Like I truly wish I was her coach telling her like, Madison, fucking run, like my like, and so, but it doesn't seem like she knows these things. She doesn't realize, oh my God, this guy's a fucking avoidant. And that's okay. But like what isn't okay, because at the table was awful. Like the mother, Madison's mother, is so sweet, and I love how she was like watching out for Madison and saying, "Hey, you did this. You kind of like blindsided your fiance, like out of nowhere, like last minute. Are you doing the same to Madison?" And he was like, "No." I didn't even believe him as he was talking there, like just the way he speaks. But like I do think her family is trying to be so supportive, and they're like, yeah, whatever. So they might have missed the signs of like, this guy, I don't fully trust him, right? And I bet you if the mother knew and if Madison's sister knew what he had said about Madison in the confessionals or whatever, saying that, oh yeah, I usually date like petite women or smaller women, I would be like, fuck you, bye, right? They would have said the same thing. But either way, moving along, the biggest madness was when he was trying on his clothes and he couldn't even try like his tux for the wedding. He couldn't even put his pants on. Like he didn't want to put the tie on. You could see him spiraling. Like he just couldn't. And so for that, I feel like, oh, at least he was honest about the way he was feeling. He told the guys. All the guys were like, yes, I'm in. And he's like, I'm not there, you guys. And then it just kept getting worse as he was trying on the clothes. And so when he gets back to the house, he tells her, like, you're not my person. I'm not marrying you. And like Madison's devastated. Her heart is broken. And he can give two shits, you guys. Like his face, like it was giving sociopath. And not to say that he actually is, obviously, but like it was like, wow, this guy doesn't really give a shit at all. And it actually reminded me of when I was a shit. I remember like I was like 17, yes, or 18, and I was dating this guy. It was like a long-term boyfriend, and I broke his heart, and he was crying. He was a mess, and I can care less. I was super like, my. And I was with him for a couple years, and I was pretty heartless about it. And I really feel like it came down to emotional maturity, and I lacked empathy. I lacked, a lot of things at that time. Joe is like 30. Joe. Joe's like 30. I was 18 when I was like a bitch and cold hearted, right? And there he is, Joe, like 30, whatever he is, and he can care less. He's lacking some massive empathy. Madison dodged a bullet. Like I truly believe Madison is a beautiful light in the world. It's a blessing in disguise. God is watching out for her. Joe's not for her. I hope that Madison keeps putting her heart on her sleeve, but actually prepares herself, gets the tools to discern who is right for her and who's not right for her. This is where honestly, like I love seeing this with my clients when I'm teaching them to be a dating ninja. I feel like that is something that is missing in the dating culture. People are just going with the flow. Oh my God, Joe likes me. He's so cute. And she's kind of swept away with it. But I do feel like there were some massive signs, red flags along the way where it's like, oh my gosh, bye moment for sure. Madison should have left his ass a long time ago. That whole night when he got shit-faced drunk and wouldn't own it, and she wanted for someone to show up for her, and he he wasn't. He didn't give a shit. He didn't care. He laughed. And the night that they're breaking up, he also laughed. Like, he has shown who he is from day one, and she has kind of swept it under the rug, right? And so, like, the way that he responds to the breakup is like, it tracks, like, it's on brand. It is Joe. Joe was like that from the beginning. So I'm not surprised that he can care less. And he's laughing as she is crumbling. It is so sad for Madison. I hope Madison is like, doesn't give him the power, and she learns from the choices that she's made and moves forward with more faith and saying, fuck yeah, like, I know what to do now. I know what I don't want. I know what to say and do. Because Joe, it doesn't deserve, like, where Madison is like, fuck this, all men are assholes and never date again. Because, like, Madison, I could see this beautiful future for her, right? And this, as if this is resonating with you, like, oh my God, I've done that with in your past, right? If you've been heartbroken like Madison, hopefully you don't give up on love and you don't throw everything away for that fucking guy. He's not worth it. You know what I mean? This is what I love about this show for you too. Like, as you're navigating your love life and putting yourself out there, you can learn from all of these mistakes. And you're like, oh my God, don't, oh my God, that, you know, if you're thinking, oh my God, the guy I'm dating right now reminds me of Joe, like, that should tell you, dump his ass. Like, do not date. If you're dating a guy like Joe, this is like a wake up call, right? Oh my gosh. And before I forget, you guys, and I had thought of it before, Anton, I just remembered something. When Anton and Ali, when they saw each other for the first time after he proposed, I forgot, and I had said I had to talk to you about it. Anton walks back to his room and Ali walks back to the room. You know how they always do that? They go to each other's rooms and they turn around, they look at each other, and like, it's so cute, like they're so in love. That's what it's supposed to happen, right? That's not what Anton did. Like, Anton went back to his room and like chugged down champagne. You guys, like, and Ali's there, like, poor thing, like looking over, like waiting for Anton to turn around. He never turned around to see Ali, you guys. Like, Ali was just like, oh, okay, I guess that's it. And truly, like, people, I always say to you, people show you who they are from the jump. He was a lush, like drinking his champagne. That's his priority. And here we are now, you know, whatever, a month later, they're dealing with him and his drinking, like how much he drinks, and that's his priority. And she is like having a major problem with it. But he showed her from the very first second that she met him that he's just chugging along the champagne. That's his priority. That's what he does. It is up to Ali now to believe him and be like, oh, he's shown me who he is. I believe him. And now what are you going to do with it? Like, he's not going to change. Don't pretend that you can change the man, because it's not going to happen. You can't change people. So, yeah. I'm so glad I remembered before I jumped off. Let me know how you're feeling about this. Who do you think is going to say yes? Who do you think is going to say no? I want to know all the things. Let me know. And remember, it has to be crazy love or nothing. Thank you for listening. Until